Right, I went to Rivington and Blackrock High School. The primary school I went to was St Catherine's. I left there in May '93, and then I ran away from home, and I just got in with the wrong crowd, taking drugs, drinking. I was homeless for a couple of weeks, and I moved into a bedsit, and it just went from there really. And then I came back, I went to Manchester, then I came back to Bolton, and there was a guy what was he was a window cleaner a couple of streets from where I were. He offered for me to move in rent free and just do a couple of jobs for him. So it took me a couple of weeks like making a decision. Eventually I moved in with him, but he had different intentions. I went back to college on a springboard training course, and he wanted a relationship, whereas I didn't, because he was older. We were old enough to be my dad. I stayed there because, like, obviously I had nowhere else to live, thinking that he understood where we was. And then we went out one night to Derby Ward Labour Club with his dad, and he'd had quite a lot to drink. He'd been putting Pernod in my drinks as well. We was walking home and he attacked me near Queen's Park, and then we got in the flat at Westwood Road, and he raped me that night. So it just spiralled from there really, the downhill spiral. I won't say I really got any regrets or mistakes, because they're all life lessons what I've had, and I've obviously gone through what I've gone through for a reason. I think probably the biggest regrets is being so vulnerable, and not being able to stand up for myself at times in my life, probably when I was a teenager, and being too trusting. I think them are my only regrets. I feel proud of what I've overcome and the point what I've got to today. It's, even though I was vulnerable from the first incident, whatever happened, it's toughened me as I've gone along, and I've prepared myself in mind to expect the worst, but prepare for the good as well. I've been through quite a lot. I have been through quite a lot looking back, but I've got 5 beautiful children from it. So the way I see it is like everything happens for a reason. Even though there has been bad experience in my life, I'll turn it to a positive, and that's the way I always look at things. The Horwich Hub has been built on my life experiences. I was an alcoholic for many years, which stems from the first incident, whatever happened to me. When I left that relationship, I felt that that man was constantly looking over my shoulder. So I turned to alcohol as a crutch to block it out. Eventually it became where it controlled me instead of me controlling it, and it got to the point where my children were taken away from me. So I ended up in rehab in 2005 for 6 months, and in that time it made me grow, and it made me see life in a different light, and how important my children were to me, and that I've been given a second shot at life. So this is built on the experiences of alcohol. I've been an alcoholic, but I've also been a carer of an alcoholic. I've got 5 children, but 4 of them have got disabilities. So this is where the sensory room will come into it, and the behaviour management skills sessions, because when my children were younger, and I did have issues with one of my children at high school, there's not very many options here for them. So everything, all the plans, all the ideas has all been put in from life experience and built up, and the Horwich Hub has been created. It's not just alcohol support, it's drug support as well, parenting support, behaviour management, everything all under one roof. I've already pulled the team together. I've got 5 counsellors, a clinical psychologist, 2 teachers SEN, local trades, there's other businesses involved as well. So once we've got the building and it's secure, it'll work, services will work. I hope that Horwich people and anyone within this vicinity will use all the services provided, the counselling, the alcohol sessions, the sensory sessions. It's not only going to be helping the community, but it's going to be like helping the churches as well, because the trades what are involved, there's quite a lot of trades as brickies, joiners. We're pulling together as a community, and we're offering other services, and the elderly who might not be able to get out, we're going to do a befriending service as well, where youths can go and see if they need any little odd jobs doing, and help them. So I'm hoping everybody within this community and businesses and companies, it'll benefit all of them. The future plans, at the minute we're running the services mobile. We're trying to build it up and raise funds. I've got a selling page. I've just smashed through my first target. So the sensory equipment's just been ordered. We've been donated a tent, and there's a church local what he's got 4 days a week free, day and night. So I'm going to be running a toddler session, a youth group, and 2 sensory sessions a week from there to raise the funds even more. I've got a businessman what's interested, and he's looking at buying the building where I can rent it off him. So we're building the services up mobile at the minute. Then our aim is to get everything, all the services, all under one roof. It's just getting the building at the minute, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Any people in the local area looking for help, we're hoping to improve the services here what are provided. I feel that over the years, personally, services are lacking within Horwich. There's an 8-mile distance from here to Bolton, and there's a 12-week waiting list for counselling, whereas if these services are direct in Horwich, you've got that link to be seen to almost straight away. Children with disabilities, there's nothing within this area. It's Bury or Manchester. We've got a lot of children with disabilities in Horwich, and I feel that they're not getting the services what they need. There's nothing under one roof or any service what people need. If people are struggling, the elderly, anyone with an alcohol issue, they come to that building and any service will be provided from there.
Tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from my mistakes. Tears stream down your face, and lights will guide you home, at your bones, and I will try to fix you.